All right, so I just saw the Beekeeper, the latest Jason Statham, David Ayer directed action movie here to bless our eyeballs in mid-January. And I have to say, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things about this movie, about how it's an absolute dumpster fire, and about how it's fine. And I'm right here along the middle. I think it was hard for me to pay attention for this movie just because I felt like I had seen this type of movie so many times before. And I don't think it was a necessarily entirely incompetently made movie, like I hear some people saying. It's just really overdone type of stuff. We have our inconspicuous person who turns out to be a action hero who, gets angered at the oppression of the downtrodden and those that can't defend themselves and rises up in their defense to fight the system, stick it to the man, all that good stuff. And these are tropes that have been with us since almost the dawn of mankind. And so I can't really fault the movie for falling back on those tropes. It's just, it fell on them in a way that was way too similar to other movies in the past 10 years, in my opinion. It does the John Wick thing, and it doesn't do anything else differently enough to kind of stop it from you comparing it to John Wick all the time in that movie. I'm talking about the first John Wick. Take Nobody, for example, with Bob Odenkirk that came out a couple of years ago. That movie is also very similar, right? You're an inconspicuous person. The movie is literally called Nobody, and who is revealed to be an action hero who can kick everybody's butt. That is very tropey, but it was unique enough that it was still entertaining and it wasn't distracting by how similar to everything else it was. Unfortunately, The Beekeeper is not like that, and The Beekeeper is also a little too goofy for its own good sometimes, so much so that I just turned my brain off when I watched this movie, which is not a very good thing. At that point, we're getting into Fast and Furious territory where you don't ever want to turn your brain off while watching a movie, and that's exactly what I did here. Again, it's all fairly competent. The biggest problem with this movie is its script. It just kind of throws you in there and lets you and just takes you along for its ride. That is not a very entertaining ride. It's just a ride. It's like that one roller coaster at an amusement park that you get on. It's got no loop-de-loops. It doesn't go very fast. But, if you have little kids, it's fine. Don't take little kids to this movie. But I hope you get the analogy. So, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything because this movie does take some turns that in a better script would have been more ground shaking and surprising. But unfortunately, because this script is so flat and the characters have no development and we don't know anything about anybody, it's just things that happen. And the movie acts like, whoa, aren't you surprised? I'm like, I mean, a little, but I also don't care. So, yeah, unfortunately, not necessarily a recommendation for me. Do not waste money watching this movie. You can definitely go and spend your money elsewhere. This movie doesn't necessarily deserve it unless you are a big cinephile like I am and you love movies and you just want to see an example of how a movie can just be so average and just unremarkable. Then go check out The Beekeeper. It might be for you.